I'm sure if you have read this title and say, what the heck does this finance guy know about recovering from the coronavirus? And I'll tell you, I know basically nothing when it comes to the physical disease. I'm not qualified in that aspect to tell you what you need to do to recover from the disease physically. But when it comes to financially, I have talked to so many federal employees that are stressed. They are approaching retirement, or even those that are farther away from retirement, and they want to know, what can I do to recover from the aftermath of COVID-19? About what has happened to their TSP. And we know that federal employees are incredibly blessed because of their job security, where many people in the world are not just thinking about their investments, but just their job in general. Many feds don't have to worry about that, where job security is extremely high amongst all my clients and about all other federal employees in the United States. So that's an incredible gift, so be thankful for that. But as we know, your TSP was not immune, right? It went down just like any other investments. And I have talked to some federal employees who are ready to just give up on the TSP. They say, hey, it's not enough options, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. I want to go put it in an IRA or some other investing. One of my friends is with a financial advisor here, and financial advisor can't touch my TSP, I want to move out, these kind of things. And almost every time I tell these people, say, hey, the TSP is one of the best retirement plans that exist in the world. It's incredibly hard to beat. If you go somewhere else, it's going to be more complicated, where unless you are really good at what you're doing, you're not going to do better. You're going to do worse, and there's going to be more fees that stack up in your account, and you're just going to have worse retirement results down the road. Some people don't like the TSP, but if you truly understand what makes a successful retirement and a successful retirement plan to really accumulate wealth, to make money over the long term, the TSP has all the necessary ingredients, and they do it extremely well. The fees are extremely low, the match is incredible, and the funds are extremely simple, but they're the ones that you want, right? Sometimes you're like, hey, I want to invest in this stock or this stock. When it comes down to it, if you can invest for your age and your retirement plan and do it well, you will have incredible results, probably a lot better results than people that say in a 401k plan or on the private side. You're going to have better results. Now, that being said, what has happened with all the coronavirus and COVID-19 and all these things in the world, it's pretty unprecedented. Where how fast the disease just ripped through the world. So it spread so quickly. But what happened in the stock market, how it dropped dramatically, I can't say it's unprecedented. It has happened time and time and time again, where the stock market comes down. And it's hard to believe because over the last 10 years, we've basically only seen up. And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of federal employees who, they forget what it feels like, right? But we know that over the last, say, 90 years, there's been about 25 bear markets. And what a bear market is when the stock market drops by more than 20%. Okay, so in the last 90 years, there's been about 25 bear markets. So that means about every 3.6 years, we have a drop like this, where it drops dramatically. So I have to say that the TSP is incredible, but it's not immune to dropping. It will drop. But that is how investing works, where over time, it's going to go up. But it is directly correlated to the emotions of the investors in the world. And when investors are scared, it's going to go down. And honestly, for most federal employees, the fact that this dip happened is a good thing. And because when you can invest more when it's low, over time, it's going to grow, kick back, and be worth so much more. You don't want to buy something when it's the most expensive. So for most federal employees that are investing for their long-term goals and not too aggressive or too conservative, this dip is actually a great thing, right? It doesn't feel like it when the account drops, but you have to keep a long-term perspective. I'm not trying to discourage people from investing. I'm not trying to scare you to say stop investing, because investing is such an important part of your wealth creation, of building wealth, building a retirement snowball. Have something to live off down the road. And so if we are going to have a successful retirement, and if you want to have resources down the road, investing is just going to be part of your life, whether you like it or not. I mean, you don't have to, but what's the alternative, right? I mean, you could just save everything in a savings account and have inflation just eat away at your returns and your money. And let's do over a 30-year retirement. What your money is worth at the end is it just gets cut in half over and over and over again. So the best course is to understand investing enough. You don't have to be an expert, just enough to know what your strategy is, to know what your long-term plan is, to say, okay, I'm going to invest in these funds. As I get closer to retirement, I may get a little more conservative, but for now, until let's say the next 5 years, I'm going to stick to this. Regardless of what the market does, I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm not going to sell out to the G fund, because just like out in the private world, if you sell when something drops, that's a bad idea. Well, that's a losing proposition where you're investing when it's going up, and then when it drops, you sell. That means you buy when it's expensive and you just sold when it's not a good price. So that's a losing proposition. You have to know what your plan is, what your investment strategy is for the long term for you, not what your coworker says or anything else. What's your plan? Maybe do some research. It's worth doing some research, whether it's online or talking to someone, something. Shoot me an email. I'd love to sit down and chat. I talk with federal employees all the time, even if they're not my client. I talk with them all the time, walk through some of their concerns, some of the questions they have, just to give them some clarity, to give them just something to get started. So to say, okay, I don't know everything, but I know enough to get started, to invest like this, and I know it may go down, but I just am going to be confident in the my long-term plan, that I don't have to freak out at everything. And now the coronavirus, COVID-19, we're not happy that it happened, right? But we do know that when the stock market comes down, over time, that's a good thing. That is a good thing for your retirement and for your investments and for your life in general. You have to be able to ride out the waves in the good time and the bad. So I hope this gives some perspective during this crazy time about how to recover from COVID-19. And when the next COVID-19 comes around, whether it's a COVID-19 or housing crash or something, it's gonna come again. And for most federal employees, you've probably lived through 3, 4, 5 different of these drops before. And I guarantee you're gonna live through another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more of them. We don't know how many, we don't know when. That is why it is so important to have a plan, so that when it happens, you can feel secure about what you're doing. You don't have to think, what if, right? I hope this is helpful, and I hope this gives perspective in this crazy time. And I'll see you next week. And again, thank you for making it to the end of my video, the end of my podcast. I hope this brought value to you and your life. My goal with this content is to bring as much value to as many people as I possibly can. So please, if you can, if this brought value to you, please show your support, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment, give me feedback about what you want to hear about, what you want to learn about, and how you can get more value out of this, and so that I could do the very best I can to make this the best channel for my viewers, for my listeners, the very best I can. So again, thank you for being here and investing in yourself and in your future. And I will see you next week.